Hi, and welcome back. You are here for After Dinner Conversation. After Dinner Conversation is a series of short stories and podcast for short stories for long discussions. I'm going to get that right someday. And we're here again. I'm your co-host Kolby with co-host Jeremy and Jessica.
Hello.
And we are once again in La Gattara, a place that adopts cats out because they're awesome. And we were playing with the cats beforehand.
Kolby made me stop.
Yeah, we had to stop to actually work. And they are amazing, and so you should definitely come by. They're in Tempe, Arizona. If you're in this area, come and check them out. Also, if you enjoy this, please like or subscribe to whatever your thing is that you're doing. Whether it's well, no, it could be like on iTunes.
Wherever
it could be on Stitcher.
Yes.
It could be on
I
YouTube.
use Overcast.
Overcast. It could be Undercast. It could be
Google Play.
Google Play.
I bet you it's on YouTube.
It is on YouTube.
It is on YouTube.
Yeah, because I know because I spent all the time editing the videos. Okay, and so our story today is As You Wish by Tyler Kurt. And Jessica, you are our person. Now, Jeremy set the bar pretty high last week.
Yeah, he did.
So
now I'm stressed out about it.
Yeah, you
and
should be.
I didn't type it up.
You didn't rewrite the entire story and call it a summary?
I didn't.
Okay.
But I'm going to try.
Sorry, Jeremy. I got to let that go, man. I'm self-conscious that I do such a bad job and you did such a good job.
He did a really good job.
He did.
All right, so this is As You Wish, which is a children's story. I believe this is your first children's story to discuss on the podcast?
It is, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is an all-ages story, and it is about Sad Bear and his friends. And Sad Bear is a stuffed animal, and his friends are stuffed animals that live in a trunk and have no idea how long they've been in the trunk. And then one day the trunk is opened by an elderly lady, and she can hear the toys, and they can hear her, and they converse. And she has promised to fix them so that they can be adopted out to other children. And the toys start requesting fixes. So some of the fixes are like fix my arm that's fallen off, or fix my buttons, and then are sort of cosmetic. And then there are some that are asking for much larger changes to be completely different animals. So like, I want to be a giraffe.
The giraffe wants a shorter neck, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, wants a shorter neck. And then we are introduced to Sad Bear, and she asks Sad Bear if Sad Bear would like for his face to become a happy face, and he says no. And I believe the other friends don't understand, or perhaps it's just that she doesn't understand, the elderly lady who finds him. But he is very polite about it, but says that he wants to remain to be Sad Bear.
And you read this to your daughter, didn't you?
I did read this to my daughter.
Yeah, and what was her opinion?
She was unimpressed.
Yeah, fair. But I thought the reason she was unimpressed was interesting.
Well, I mean,
She's like, I found the writing derivative. So, it's like Toy Story.
It's like Toy Story. No, I think so. I definitely spend a lot of time with my daughter in kind of a awareness and emotional intelligence kind of standpoint, and so we really try to accept people as they are. And sometimes you want to change who you are, and that's totally okay. And sometimes you want to be who you are, and we don't need to change you to make you our friend. We will accept you no matter what. And so we really try to come from a place of always saying yes to people who want to be friends, whether that's,
That sounds like really good parenting. I'm gonna cry.
Well, it actually came from, I think, a This American Life story about
Of course it did.
About a teacher who she met with high school students and she asked high school students why don't you play with other groups of high school students? Why don't you guys hang out?
Yeah.
And what if you guys just said yes whenever somebody wanted to enter your friends group? And they were like, oh, we can't. Maybe if you had started with us earlier, maybe if that was something that was socially acceptable earlier, try middle school. So she tried middle school, and middle schoolers were like, try elementary school.
Yeah.
And elementary students were like, maybe try kindergartners. And kindergartners were like, maybe try preschool. And so she started teaching it in a kindergarten, and it's something that I've taught my daughter is just because there's so much, especially with little girls, there's so much bullying. So anyway, I'm derailing us, but
no, I think that's so. One of the the reason I bring that up is because I had a follow-up question I was waiting for this.
Wait, so you talked to me so
I
that you
prepped.
could ambush me.
Yeah, it was
during,
totally, it's a podcast ambush.
I see.
So my question is, first off, that sounds very progressive and very like good parenting, right? Like
I hope so.
accept people as they are.
Yeah.
Like everyone's different. Some people choose to be different than whatever, and if you want to, whatever.
Right.
But aren't there things that you're like, like if somebody comes in with some ginormous fake breasts, don't you eye roll? I know you must. You're not like well in
we
your
know
heart,
you, Jessica.
Yeah, like I know.
Yeah.
I know you.
I'm judgy McJudgerson.
Yeah, so I know
yeah.
that you're not like well. I mean, this is I think sort of the weird thing about that thing that what you're saying is if somebody says, "Look, I'm transitioning," you'd be like, "Be who you are on the inside."
Right.
But if somebody says, "I'm a D,"
Right.
you're like, "No, you're a B."
Right.
Like
right.
you need to be a B cup and accept yourself for who you are. And it's like, no, I'm a D cup on the inside.
Right.
Like,
well, so I don't think, and Kolby and Jeremy have known me a long time, so they know I'm very judgy. So it is true to call me out on that. What I would say is that the one does not negate the other. Somebody who comes in with, I was hoping to keep this PG, so talking about giant breasts is a little weird, but
for a kid, I didn't even think about that.
right?
I should have
Good
come up with a better
job,
example.
Kolby. Giant fake nose.
Yeah, there you go. Like a Pinocchio nose.
A
We'll go with
Pinocchio
that.
nose.
Yeah.
That does not negate that they're a human, and that does not negate that we can be friends with them.
Okay.
Right? We can still
You can
Be
judge
judgy.
them, but
we
friend
can
them.
absolutely
You can still judge them until you find out that this was a nose reduction, you know, and they had a big double H nose before.
right, totally. So I
So what
think,
you're saying is I can be friends with people that I judge.
well, I mean that's why we're still friends.
Must be.
I'm judging
must
you
be.
all the time,
I know.
and still,
I just wish you
still
would.
love you.
I just wish you wouldn't write it on the bathroom mirror. Like.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So to go back to the story, Jeremy, I assume you did
Were
not.
you done
read
with your summary?
Yes. Was it too short for you?
What's a children's story?
No, he interrupted.
Oh, no. I was done with the summary. Yes. Sad bear at the end decides to stay sad bear.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just so one thing that I do want to point out though is he's not just sad; he's genetically sad, right? Like
Yes.
his face,
He's drawn sad.
Yeah,
he has a permanent frown.
right,
Right.
because it's sewn on.
Right.
And so, so it's like a clinical depression or whatever that he's got, like a genetic depression that could be fixed.
Right.
So, Jeremy, what do you think? Like, so somebody, you got a daughter, so your daughter comes to you and says, "Look, I'm sad all the time," and you go, "Well,
You're
know."
like, welcome to being a teenager.
Right, it's true. That's true. You're like, so what you're saying is you're 17.
Yes.
I mean, do you think one way or the other about somebody who chooses to fix something that might just be hard coded into them?
It's a really loaded question because
Yeah.
you know it depends on what it is, because I feel like societally we have different responses to different conditions.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
where depression is absolutely a different condition than physical appearance. And
Sure.
where it's much more acceptable to change your physical appearance than it is to take
medicate?
medication.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't even, yeah. To
So-
me, they're just like the same. It's like a broken arm is a broken arm. You go fix it. But I understand. You're like, socially, you're right. Yeah.
So there's a lot involved with that, and you know, how much do you try to not fix the problem in like make them change, but
Right.
how do you solve the problem by being supportive and getting them the help they need to understand if this is really a
hard
condition,
coding? Yeah.
right, or something that you know they need to exercise more, and this really is just a chemical imbalance that they have because they don't exercise enough.
Eat better, more sleep, exercise more.
Right. How much of it is a result of chemical imbalance, as opposed, which is
Okay, so in the case
a
of
condition,
so
as opposed to a.
So in the case of Sad Bear,
Okay.
Sad Bear does not need more exercise. It is literally sewn on his
in this
mouth.
yes. It's up to him at that point. If he wants to change, then we should be supportive of his desire to change. We should be supportive of the giraffe's desire to.
And if he doesn't want to
his appearance.
change,
Absolutely.
be supportive of the not
Yeah.
desire to change.
Well, and I do want to point out, because I always feel like this is something that we don't talk about enough, that especially when we're talking about medication or depression or I
would point out this from the person who wears glasses.
Correct.
To fix her eyes.
To fix my eyes.
Yeah.
How dare I? Or like I have ADD, so there is a definite societal bias to this neural normalcy, right?
Yeah.
This idea that everybody needs to be the same, and we all need to think the same, and we all need to act the same, and anything outside
and
of that
look the same, and
right.
It sounds like you're talking about eugenics program
Hey,
again.
Right.
This is a callback to Pretty Pragmatism, which was last week's episode. Please tune in, and you can listen all about that.
Way to keep it kid-friendly
Yeah.
again. Yeah, good call.
Yeah, it's only about Nazis, kids. Don't worry. But I think that a lot of times we get caught up in this idea of what you're thinking, feeling, acting is not what everybody else is, and therefore you need to fix it. And that is very ableist. That is very much part of this society of everything has to be homogenous, and that's not okay. There's lots.
I think it's also dangerous too.
It is super
Right?
dangerous.
Like if you look at homogenous groups, whether that's Native American groups, for example, that because that's a relatively small gene pool that all Native Americans are derived from, that it creates risks.
Yes.
Right? As opposed to having a very diverse gene pool, whether that's the different sort of things that are going on in people's heads, whether that's physical genetics, whether that's whatever, like it creates a resiliency.
Yeah, and I would say that, like, especially with the way some of our greatest thinkers of our time were not people who fit into the school setting well.
Absolutely.
Right? Einstein was terrible at school.
Diversity is important for a lot of reasons.
Yep. And that's not to say that you must be a genius in order to not be included in the, to be allowed to be abnormal, which is also something we do.
Sure.
Like you must be super smart, and then we'll let you be in the abnormal group. But that's a thing. And I think that that's what, when I read this story, like a lot of the hackles that were raised, and that's not the fault of the author, it's just the fault
of the topic.
The topic is, I'm immediately like, are you, are we judging the group that wants to change? And are we judging the group that doesn't? Really?
I totally was, yeah.
Why?
You were judging the group
You
that
know the
wanted
one?
to change.
I'll tell you why. So some of them I understood, right? Like you're missing an arm because the dog ripped your arm off. Okay, replace the arm.
Right.
Your dress is bad. You want a new dress. All right, that's a little bit odd, but whatever. Get the new dress. The one that I legitimately got like misty-eyed on, we were talking about this right before we started, was the unicorn.
I made fun of you.
The unicorn.
For not wanting to be a unicorn.
Because it specifically says like you're unique and special.
Right.
Right? And the unicorn says, I don't want to be unique and special. And I don't like that's so. And of course, it's like a gay pride thing too. But like I can hear somebody saying like, I don't want to stand out. Like I want to go to high school or junior high or be an adult, and I want to be utterly unnoticeable.
Right.
Right.
And
Why do I have to be different when I
Right.
just want to fit in?
Right. And it's like, do you understand? Like you are so like you're a miracle, and you want to unmiracle yourself. So yes, so consequently I judged that unicorn. I was like, unicorn, you gotta just like deal. That is so sad. It's making me teary-eyed right now.
And it was a good thing in the story, though, from a story perspective, to almost go from this, it's a broken leg, to it's new dresses, to progress to all of these, deep psychological changes or deep physical changes that would affect their psychology. So it was an interesting approach from the story to go from that minimum level to that maximum. I want to completely change who I am.
To a universally acceptable fix to a breast augmentation.
Right.
Yeah.
Nose augmentation.
Nose
augmentation. I want a bigger nose. What about the I think it was a rabbit that wanted better eyesight than he was born with? Because he was born with cheap plastic eyes, and he's like, as long as you're putting in new eyes, can you put in better eyes?
Look, if I could have better eyes, if I could not just
like Geordie eyes,
right?
Like
if
Geordie
I
from
could,
Star Trek.
If I could not just correct my vision.
I was thinking Ghost in the Shell with the bionic eyes there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. I like if I could have, instead of 20/20, I don't know, is it 40/20
2015.
or is it 20/50? I can't.
Yeah,
20/50.
like better than 20/20.
I would absolutely, if the doctor was like, hey, it's the same price. Which one do you want? I'm going for the 2015, right? Like I would absolutely try to have better eyes. I don't know.
But doesn't that go a little bit against the idea of being accepting of, like?
Well,
like,
am I making that choice, or am I making a choice for someone else?
You're making the choice for you. You're deciding if you're going to have 20/10 eyes.
That, right? I decide not to be medicated for ADD.
Sure.
Right? I decide that too. That's if I have lots of friends.
So you
and
don't
that's
judge. You don't judge the unicorn, then, is what you're saying.
I definitely don't judge the unicorn.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Right? Like I
That's
don't.
fair.
I don't.
But you have to not judge that decision.
Right? I don't know. They don't have cool parents like I am.
Yeah, where did this unicorn parent? Where did all these dolls' parents go? They just abandoned them to some kid in a toy chest.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know how that person was raised. I don't know what their day-to-day fight is, right? Like, just because I don't medicate for ADD doesn't mean that I judge people that do medicate for ADD. It's their personal decision that clearly they're struggling with whatever they're struggling with, and I have a different struggle, right?
Jeremy, what would you think, man, if your daughter came to you and said, I want fill in the blank, breast augmentation,
bigger nose.
Yeah,
bigger nose.
I want eyes that can see in the infrared as well.
I struggle with the whole idea of them getting tattoos.
Yeah, that's a great example. That's a great.
They did get tattoos?
One of them has.
The older one did?
The older one?
The other one just turned 18. Is like, as soon as I get money, tattoo time.
What is their tattoos? Does it say like live free or die or something? Please tell me it's live free or die, but in binary. That would be
resuscitate.
Yeah.
Resuscitate. No.
That would be like that exactly is everything I know about your family. If it's written in binary or it's written in barcode.
I was going to say in Elvish, but
Elvish,
sure.
yes.
If you can read this, go away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. No, I would have to be supportive, but try to play the devil's advocate of look,
it's forever.
It's forever. You really want to do this? Think about it. Get good art at least, and find a good, don't
get good art at least.
Get a good artist.
Get a good doctor.
Right.
Yeah.
Get a good artist. The offer from the guy down the street on the corner, you don't get his tattoos.
No.
So let me get this straight. So let's say your daughter's 17, and she's like, look, I need you to sign the slip. They're not going to let me do it till I'm 18. Do you sign the slip?
It really depends on what it is. I think some.
Oh, so now you're curator of content.
Absolutely.
Well, I think,
wow.
From that perspective.
I think that's okay. Right? Because at this point, you have such a responsibility as a parent.
Yes.
Right?
That if you're under 18, we really need to discuss the consequences of this.
Yes.
And the more drastic the change, like a tattoo at 17, yeah, you can get a tattoo. But if you want a gender transition, that's why they really make you wait 2 years for a gender transition.
Although,
because
to bring it to newer science, a lot of newer science says, especially for gender transitioning, that because kids identify so early and
it's an easier transition.
It's a much easier transition to start when they're children.
Okay.
So that again is one of those things you have to judge as a parent and as a family and decide. But I think if my daughter, who is amazing and awesome and has decent judgment.
Your daughter's going to use this video, by the way, to get a tattoo
absolutely.
now.
Yeah, I know.
No, she's already getting tattooed.
But
She's 18.
if at 16 she came to me and she said she wanted a tattoo, I would say absolutely not. Nope. And she would be like, but Mom, it's 2 years. No biggie. Just sign it. I would say no.
How about show me the tattoo first?
No.
What do you want?
Absolutely not.
What if she wanted laser eye surgery? Like corrective, laser eye surgery?
I would have to talk to a doctor because there's a lot of science about them growing.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm just saying in the hypothetical sort of.
If a doctor was like, yeah, I would be like, yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
Cause
but it's forever. What if she wants to be? This goes. Another one this reminds me of is the parents that have the deaf parents who have a deaf kid, and they find that if you get a cochlear implant, right when you're a baby, your brain rewires better and it's more effective.
Yep.
And so you are choosing to help your child be in a hearing world as opposed to a deaf world.
Yep.
Therefore, sort of implicitly saying that. Maybe
that's
the hearing world is better.
Yep.
And there's and I'm a big believer.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I was just saying.
Yeah. But that's the implication.
The implication, yes.
Yeah. And it's like.
Or the reverse, that that you are so, the judgment is always that you are so involved in your culture, the deaf culture, that you are now hindering your child's success because you won't let them get a cochlear implant and go into the hearing world. Yeah,
but this goes back to your medication thing about ADD, right? Like
different because medication can be stopped.
Oh, that's true.
Right.
I suppose you could you could just take the thing off maybe. I don't know how cochlear implants work that way.
Well, so the problem, I am not deaf and I don't come from this world, but I think probably the problem is that if you have a cochlear implant and you are in a hearing world, you are exposed to deaf culture, but you're not soaking in it the way you would if you did not have a cochlear implant.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I struggle with because there's so many. This is one of the things I do like about this story is there are so many shades of gray you can spin it off to, from cochlear implants to breast implants to corrective vision to nose things to to all the way to whether it's liposuction or whether it's whatever. And it's just like, and yet at the core of it, everyone sort of universally, or most people would say, like, you need to learn to accept yourself. Like that's like you're never gonna find the last thing to make you happy.
Right, but there's lots of but
again, it's lots of gray.
There's lots of gray.
The other side of it is, when you're with somebody in a familial relationship, you need to be supportive of their decisions and help them make those decisions if they're really difficult. And there's a lot of extenuating circumstances around it. It depends on what it is.
So, Jeremy, just to tie it back to the story.
Depends.
It depends. That should be the slogan for the show. None of the stuffed animal changes or refusal of changes you had an issue with?
No, I think they're all...
You were cool with the giraffe getting a shorter neck?
Yeah.
But isn't he essentially changing his giraffeness?
Yes, but he's a stuffed animal anyways.
Way to not suspend disbelief, man. All right, and the unicorn you're okay with? And
yes, disappointed, but accepting.
That's how you should phrase it to your daughter when she wants to get a tattoo.
Disappointed.
I support you, but I'm disappointed but accepting.
Well, and I want to point out that that's also a very American thing. Right?
Disappointed but accepting.
That's also an American thing. No, but I was going to say this idea of specialness, like this idea that you're so unique and you're so special. Like there's lots of cultures that special and uniqueness is something you do want to change. You want to be, more, and I don't want to say homogenous because that's not fair. That is very judgy, but more part of the general
And you're
society.
speaking on averages, of course. There are individual outliers in every culture.
Absolutely.
So actually, I've had a million roommates over the years, and one of the roommates actually got their area of research was cultural, not anthropology, but cultural Darwinism, sort of like how the same studies, when you take the same sort of various studies that have been done in the United States, all the various ones that have are well known, and you have the exact same study done in another country. Okay. So like the prison experiment.
So like a social science study.
Yeah. You take the exact same prison experiment, but you do it in China or Japan or in India or in Africa.
Okay, and see how cultural differences affect the study.
Yeah, or you take the one.
Degrees I wish I would have gotten.
Yeah. The one that this person had talked to me about it extensively was the one where they have the people press the button when the person gets the thing wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And it shocks them, and they think they're getting progressively higher shocks until they think that they've shocked them enough to where they could actually kill them. You do that in other places, and you don't get the same results.
Right.
Because the cultural sort of norms. I'd be interested to know how this discussion took place
in different cultures.
In different cultures, because I think you would find
different answers. Absolutely.
Well, and I think, to come from a place of empathy, like we have no idea where that unicorn was raised, right? We don't know what forms his or her thoughts every single day. And if that unicorn
if they're just miserable every day, then you need to take care of that.
Right. And if they need to be a horse, let them be a horse. Who cares? Yes, I am also disappointed. I definitely want them to love their uniqueness. But that's also an American, mom talking, and not somebody from a different culture.
Or somebody who's struggling.
Right, or somebody that's struggling,
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, I think we actually probably covered all of our questions. I feel like our questions are a very heavy pickaxe when we really need like a scalpel, but that's okay. The beagle, I think we got all of them. Sad bear, cool.
Wait, if there was one thing you could
magically
fix about you, or improve things to make you better, would you let them? What would you change? What would you change, Kolby?
If I could magically wave a wand and fix something about myself.
I mean, I have a list for you, but
Yeah,
what
I'm
would
sure
you
you
change?
do. You know, I'm gonna actually go deep rather than shallow.
Ooh.
If I could somehow magically be more empathetic and less engineer-y,
Okay.
I definitely feel like, and this is totally a self-diagnostic, I feel like I'm a little bit on a spectrum
Okay.
in that I see things in a very sort of like analytic, like the number of people whose names I don't know, right? Like it's comical. Then
Yes.
I just don't know so many people's names. And the reason is because I'm like, well, your name is not relevant to who you are. Like I can tell you your job, I can tell you your thing, I can tell you whether you
Totally
are
not
judgy.
relevant.
I can tell you I can tell you 50 things that are relevant to my interactions with you. Your name is not one of them, right? And so I just don't know anyone's name. I wish I could be less engineer-y, spectrum-y like that, and I think that empathy would make me a better person, but I would like to be able to turn that off and on because I think growing up the way
useful
I've
skill.
grown up, it's like I understand that this is difficult for you. I feel that I should understand that, but in this case, let me flip the switch. I don't care. I would like to be able to do that. That would be if I could pick something.
Wow. That's very...
Like sometimes the bricks just need to get laid, and I don't care if you've got an existential crisis about being a bricklayer.
Yeah. Just so you know, we empathetic people don't go around not laying bricks. Just FYI.
I wouldn't even know. I have no idea. Jeremy, do you have if you could
At
take
the
a
moment, I don't have anything I want to change.
flawless?
No, not flawless.
He's
Alright.
flawless.
I'm
He just
What about
happy
the
with
what
my
about the
flaws.
gray?
Oh yeah, I'd like a full beard.
Yeah.
full beard? Really?
Yeah, it's very patchy.
I could not imagine you with a full beard.
Think Leonidas from 300.
Oh my God! Now, wait a minute. You want the beard, but not the abs. That's how I know you work in the tech field.
Yes.
Jessica, do you have a magic wand?
She wants a beard like Leonidas
I want
too.
a Leonidas beard. I think I have a whole list.
You have a list?
I definitely, because
Wow.
I'm a woman.
I don't even have a list for you. I don't even have one thing for
but,
you.
But I grew
Maybe
up
that
a
you
little.
gave me a little bit of a break once in a while. That would be my list for you.
I think because I'm a woman, I definitely have a lot of things that society has told me
Just
that
scatter
I
those
have to
cosmos around the
change.
house for your daughter to read.
Yes, right. Yeah. I mean, there's lots of things that I think would have made my life easier in society being a woman if things could change. If I was thinner, I mean, if I had any bigger boobs, I'd fall over. But, you know, a lot of things that are very superficial. I probably would like to be, and this is just me being greedy, I would love to be smarter. I'm pretty darn smart, but gosh, if I could be even smarter, maybe I'd be evil. Maybe I don't want that. I'm so close to evil.
You don't want to.
You
chaotic
gotta
good.
ramp up the empathy too,
Oh,
and then you won't be
right,
evil.
Right. Maybe that would be it.
There's like a cat discussion going on.
Yeah,
over
that's
behind
cat in the
us.
box.
There's a cat in the box.
In the
What-
overture box over there.
Oh, is that what it is?
I think so.
All right. So you have been listening to After Dinner Conversation, short stories for long discussions. You can find these stories on Amazon to download. They're all ebooks, as well as on our website, afterdinnerconversation.com. You can listen to podcasts and YouTube videos and all of those things. Please like and subscribe if you have enjoyed this. It'll make our lives happier. It'll keep Jessica from medicating herself, apparently.
Sure,
Or fixing
sure.
whatever. I don't know.
I won't fix
I don't know.
anything.
Promises. Once again, we are at La Gattara.
La Gattara.
All of the cats you hear screeching behind us right now, having cat discussions, are
Are
for
up for
adoption.
adoption?
Yep.
There's this one named Hemingway. You should totally come adopt him. He's
He has
the
a bow
cutest.
tie.
He has a bow tie.
Yeah, in Tempe, Arizona. So please stop by. At the very least, even if you don't want one, for like $10 or $5 or whatever it is, you can come and like just hang out with
all the
cats.
Yeah.
And that way you can find out if you're allergic before you get one.
Or which one you like.
Or which one you like, or
Yes.
which one likes you because it's about consent.
Oh. No, I'm going to make Hemingway
So
like
woke.
me.
I'm so woke.
Oh, God.
All right. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week when we are discussing. Jeremy, you're doing another
Yes, Are You
marathon.
Him?
Are You Him? A man on his way to work finds a young woman in need of a friend. And you probably have like some paragraphies going on there. There's lots of cat time talking going on.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day.